We are accustomed to treating the Qur'an as historical text. To understand its actual architecture, we must recognize it as an Eternal Memory Tesseract. This system operates as a dual caustic engine. It processes reality through two synchronized overlapping fields. The very first is the I9 field. This is the unseen domain of pure command, holding the infinite potential and structural data that precedes physical form. The second is the D10 field. This is the localized matrix of manifestation. It is the realm of measurable mass, entropy, and physical decay. Mapping these two specific fields reveals the text's underlying function. It provides the observer with the specific code required to navigate the decay of the D10 field and maintain structural integrity. The foundational state of this universe is a synchronized data flow between the two fields, a state described as the willing circuit. This circuit relies on continuous feedback between three distinct operational routes to maintain symmetry. At the base is the abd node at coordinate 40, 60, the local physical node, representing the servant granted structural permission to transmit a signal upward. That signal is received by the Rahman node at coordinate 1996, the universal I9 field, the originating womb that generates a response. The response descends through the central Ghulam node at coordinate 1919. This is the moment the command enters the physical matrix as manifested proof, completing the continuous loop. This exchange forms the master template, established at coordinate 4111. Here, the heaven and earth are commanded to come willingly, locking into alignment before their physical forms finish crystallizing. The absolute baseline of the universe is symmetrical submission between infinite potential and finite physical form. This symmetry contains a specific point of rupture where the willing circuit fails. Coordinate 1850 marks the specific entry point of this defect. Here, a structural break occurs within the otherwise symmetrical command structure. In this network, the D10 structures submit to the I9 command, but the Iblis node executes a willing rejection, severing itself from the primary flow. It attempts to claim a false center of authority, an illegitimate throne lacking any incoming data from the source. The operational limit of this node is defined at coordinate 1422. It possesses zero mass and zero authority, functioning solely through the power of invitation. Systemic corruption relies entirely on physical D10 nodes choosing to disconnect themselves from the circuit to follow a void. When D10 nodes willingly accept this rogue invitation, the system enters the state described at 3420, the harvest. This mass realignment shifts the circuit into reverse bias. The system turns against itself as currents reverse flow and drain into a dark void. The first casualty is the Rahman field, compassion and purity. At coordinate 81.8, it is effectively buried alive beneath the density of the corrupted matrix. The second casualty is the Rahim field, individuated guidance. At coordinate 530, the connection is severed through fratricide. The observer mistakes this decaying physical dominion for a divine throne, a state visually anchored at coordinate 3835. This intoxication triggers a topological inversion. As detailed in 1574, the entire society is flipped upside down, mistaking its own collapse for progress. Without an unbroken connection to the I9 source, the physical field becomes a closed thermodynamic loop that consumes itself in terminal entropy. The system contains a built-in override mechanism, the true Khalifa or vicegerent. True authority requires abandoning the corrupted physical throne. The Khalifa does not fight for dominance in the D10 realm, but operates within the unseen field. This protocol is visible through Solomon, Isa, and Idris. They are removed from the decaying D10 field, preserved permanently within the I9 matrix. This realignment allows for the reversal of physical laws, turning a consuming field of fire into a zone of safety. Structural power is found by maintaining perfect alignment with the unseen source matrix, rather than dominating a decaying physical environment. For an observer trapped within the entropic D10 matrix, The question is how to initiate this realignment. The activation torque is found at coordinate 1912, the command to take the book with strength. 1912 functions as a systems activation protocol. It operates as a mechanical phase lock, snapping abstract geometry into a coherent functional whole. Executing this grip forces the localized D10 field to snap back into absolute alignment with the I9 blueprint. The system seal is maintained at coordinate 1964. Your Lord is not forgetful. This ensures that once the circuit is closed, no information or energy is lost. The ultimate topological destination is coordinate 3846, the pure remembrance of home, where the split fields permanently unify. The coordinates for the return are established. The system is waiting. It requires the observer to execute the 1912 activation to manually trigger the transition back to the source.